it is now 22 minutes to 8 o'clock, time for us to get into the way it is. And I'll start by, first of all, a quick reminder of the Twitter poll that we have for you this morning. I would like to hear what your take is. Remember, the hashtag is KTN Morning Express. If you'd like to tweet, Trix is at Trixingado. I am at Michael G. Gitonga. Do you support a Raila presidency in 2022? Do you support a Raila presidency in 2022? The segment of the show is The Way It Is. And joining us or continuing with us, we have Canon Ambrose Weda and also Dr. Pamela Odhiambo, who's a women rep for Migori County. And that question comes from intimations made by David Murathe, who happens to be the deputy chair of Jubilee Party, but also has been quite accurate in some of his intimations in regards to what he has to say. Some refer to him as the president's spokesperson or very close ally to President Uhuru Kenyatta. So over the weekend, right here on KTN News, he made an indication, and part of what he said is that it's about time Kenya rewarded Raila Amolo Odinga for all the struggles that he has had. And well, he made suggestions to that effect. We also do know that Francis Atwoli, who is the SecGen for one of the biggest bodies in the country, also has been in support of that. So let's start with that, and I'll start with you, Dr. Pamela Odhiambo, on what you make of David Murathe's suggestions.
Wow, a very interesting suggestion, but I think I welcome it wholeheartedly. As you know, even in the last election, I fought very hard for a Raila presidency. I would be glad to see it happen. I think it's something deserving. I don't mind Raila being the president. He has struggled over these years, and to be honest, I think much of the strides that we have taken in democracy is courtesy of his fight for it in this republic. So I don't mind a Raila presidency in 2022.
Mm-hmm. All right, and I'll pose the same question to Ambrose Weda. Weda, do you think that this is a suggestion that is likely to be actioned, or is David Murathe at this point in time out of sync?
First of all, let's appreciate that the presidency of the Republic of Kenya is not a reward for people. It's about the future of our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. It is about progress and prosperity. It's not about giving people that we reward you now. It is time. So that if 2022 comes, then you look at the candidates who are there, who will be able to deliver more and more. And whereas Honorable Raila may be there on the ballot, he might be fined when he's too old and free. So that when David Murathe talks, I assume that that position is like that of a supporter, somebody saying, we will, on my part as Murathe and our people, we will support the candidate of Honorable Raila. But when he talks about a reward and he talks about this, he's planning that if Raila is not the most popular, it's rigged in and so on. I would have loved Honorable Raila to have been president in 2007 when he was energetic and strong. Some of the problems we saw in 2007 was President Kibaki was there, he was good, he had direction, he had vision. But part of the problems came as a result of age and frailty. I can see Honorable Raila now faltering, making decisions.
But to be fair, Weda,
unlike him previously. Therefore, what Murathe is saying is a view that will be tested in 2022 and not now.
All right, two things.
And if at that time Honorable Raila is too frail and old, may not. Some of us may not.
All right, Weda, I don't know if you can hear me, but to be fair, Raila seems to be in fairly good health. There's nothing that would suggest that he would not be able to run a presidency.
Maybe. I have not said he is. I said maybe.
All right,
Michael, allow me to say that I knew my colleague would pick issues of the phrase reward. In my capacity, I know that Raila is well, strong, and healthy. In fact, there are older presidents in this world. If you cut across the countries, you'll meet some very old presidents, and things are working in their land. I mean, the president would not be going to everybody's house to cook. There are other stronger people like Weda there who can actually go and deliver things on the ground. Myself, I'm around, and all these other people. So I think that direction, that vision, that thought line that Raila has been taking this country through, it is still intact. And I think Raila can actually deliver. Notwithstanding, I think I personally believe in Raila leadership. I am impressed by how he has been consistent in following a certain ideological path so that there is democracy in our land, and seeing to it, even during the Kibaki term, when they were together with what Kenyans refer to commonly as the nusu mkate, we saw things working better in this country. So me, if you asked me even today, I'm wishing my President Uhuru Kenyatta well to finish his term, but I don't mind Raila presidency.
Right.
Whether you are there, strong and energetic, you will support Raila to make this country a better place.
All right, let me come back to you, Weda, and you're a seasoned man when it comes to matters politics. And of course, right now, we are kind of trying to second guess what that might mean. What do you read from this when David Murathe makes a statement like this? So far, I must say that he has been very accurate in some of the things he has said, as he is seen as one of those very close to President Uhuru Kenyatta. What do you read into this, Weda?
I think I can see a conglomeration of people who are saying that we are between a rock and a hard place. There are those who would rather go to their graves than see the deputy president become president. So they will say, if this is what it means, because Honorable Raila remains very formidable, is actually, I've said so in this program, that he is the only person that can defeat the deputy president. So there are people who are saying, if that is what it takes, then we will support it. I really don't think Honorable Murathe and his colleagues just love Raila. They love him to the extent that you'll be able to stop the deputy president. So what worries me that in that question, the interests of Kenyans are not there, the direction, the future. That is why they say, let us give it as a gift. Not that it's offering the best, but let's give it as a gift if he will stop any other person. So he may be accurate, but like I recall in 2002, when President Moi also had our current president, my friend President Uhuru, he tried to shove him in. As now they're taking Honorable Raila and they're putting him in an angle where instead of popularizing himself and being ready, they want him to appear like he's being shoved down through the throat. And that may be part of the problem.
All right, and Dr. Pamela Odhiambo, there are those pundits who would say that this was already orchestrated right from the time of the handshake, because there was word going round that during the time of the handshake, we're likely to see a Raila presidency and Uhuru Kenyatta as prime minister. This, of course, would now speak to where the BBI is today. What are your thoughts on that, and would you see that happening, Dr. Pamela?
Maigwa, I think some of these theories are good, but what I know is that you know as well as Weda and myself that even this particular presidency we are running, you people know what happened. And so making us believe, like Weda wants to make us believe that Raila is not a popular man, in this country is not the best of the presidents that we may have, is not realistic. However, of course, that sense of people thinking that it has been orchestrated is there. But you see, the issue is Raila has consistently wanted to lead this country. And stumbling blocks have been put here and there. I don't know if or during that handshake, President Kenyatta actually came to the realization that possibly he could be sitting on a seat that is really not belonging to him. And it is high time to return it to the owner. I think it is okay if President Kenyatta willingly mobilizes his troops to support his colleague, whom he oftenly describes as a brother.
It would be, Dr. Pamela Odhiambo, it would be unfortunate. It would be unfortunate for democracy if we are returning seats to people it belongs to when Kenyans are the ones who make that decision. So I would like to believe that Kenyans would be involved in this decision.
On several occasions, Michael, Kenyans have made decision for Raila to be the president of this country, but the systems have always denied him the chance. So it is okay that the Kenyans you are talking about, even as I talk to you today, they would still welcome Raila for a president. There is no reason that Kenyans will not choose Raila. I know that. And there's no need
and I think the point of focus, and I think the point,
Raila cannot be chosen.
Dr. Pamela Odhiambo, I think the point of focus should be the people of Kenya would decide. It shouldn't be decided by President Uhuru Kenyatta, by Atwoli, or even by Raila himself. It should be the people of Kenya to make that decision. I think that's the point of focus that we should be on.
Of course, the people of Kenya will make a decision, but somebody, even like my colleague was talking, he was proposing that the deputy be the president. Somebody has to propose. And that is what Muradi has done. That is Atwoli.
All right. Okay.
That is what I am doing. So that does not mean that Kenyans will be denied a chance to make a decision. We will still go to the ballot and choose Raila. That is the issue. That is
all right. All right, and allow me to maybe change the subject and move to something else because of time. We have a number of things we'd like to cover this morning. And the second thing is a question of education. I'll come to you, Canon Weda. And we did have the CS for Education, Professor Magoha, indicate or suggest that January would be a time for schools to return. But then again, it really depends on where we are going to be in regards to our score on COVID-19. So it is possible that schools may not reopen in January. That, of course, has left many parents and many children wondering what is the future. How do you feel in terms of how we are handling education in our country? We've become the laughingstock. We had the New York Times literally put out an article there that Kenya has scrapped a whole education year. Your thoughts on how we are handling the matter of education in regards to COVID-19, Weda?
Personally, I think we are doing it the right way. We are doing it the right way. The schools were not closed because of the Ministry of Education. Schools were closed on the basis of health issues, risks that are involved, the fact that the children will get it or they can bring it home, and so on and so forth. And very little information had been developed as at that time. You have seen even in America where the New York Times are writing, they have tried to open the schools and they have issues. They open and close. So for us, I've always advocated a clearer, predictable path. I had said before, the school should have, after the closure, we should have known, are we opening in January? And in January, it depends on the health environment. We are not doing any research on COVID-19 ourselves. We are just hoping that others are doing research and they will help us. So if they are not moving fast, we are subject to them. As a parent, I'm a parent. If things are so hot as they continue, I will not release my children to go to school. They are young, they can wait 2-3 years. Let's not behave like the world is ending and the children are in school and the risk has been minimized.
The issue and the question is not whether kids should go back to school or not, because that, I think, is clear. It's a no-brainer that they cannot go back to school now. But how are we handling their education in that? How do we scrap a whole year? Isn't there a more innovative way we can look at ensuring that we utilize and use the time well so that that year does not get wasted?
If you look at it in terms of, even between us now, we are conversing by a video link. Correct. But it is so erratic. Which other way do we have? And if we had a way of doing a distant learning, that would be possible. The way that our country structures are, we had problems in just providing laptops for a few of our children. Where would it go? We are still having a system where children have to gather and they are taught together. That will have to grow to another one. And it takes more years than even the COVID. So complaining now, I really don't think it's all right. Just giving us a lot of worry, which does not help so much.
All right, let me hear from Dr. Pamela Odhiambo. You know you're very passionate about matters education. Are you satisfied with how Kenya is handling education regarding especially our primary and secondary school students, specifically those in public schools?
Michael, You must have seen my face changing and laughing at the same time, because I think as a country and even as an individual, we are always confronted with issues and challenges. But then those issues and challenges, we must find ways of responding and coping with them appropriately. Now, if you ask for my satisfaction on how we are handling the education matter, I want you to know that I'm on record already saying, no, I'm not satisfied, because this uncertainty of a clear direction of what exactly is happening towards our resuming our education is causing a lot of anxiety and mental torture to our own children. I'm saying this because I know, yes, the Ministry of Education did not close schools. It is a health issue. And remember, as we sit here, my friend Weda, the ministry that hosts research is Ministry of Education. And I think in the course of this week or last week, I was on record asking, so far, what are our researchers in their very elementary and rudimentary status thinking about the COVID-19? And so when we are stating that we are waiting for other people to do the research and then we follow and they help us, I'm a bit saddened by that approach, because I know we have men and women in this country who are equally qualified, hosted by our universities. Some of them are hosted in the health ministry, who are capable of at least also doing something. For example, we are aware that in the West, the Americas and Italy and Spain and the rest of the world, people really died in real large numbers within a very short time of this COVID. Yes, in Kenya, we have also recorded infections and deaths, but the truth is, we have not died as much as those people. So by now, I was expecting one of our medical researchers to wonder, what is it that is in the DNA of Kenyans that is making some of us test even positive, but they are still well going about their businesses as usual? And this is a very pertinent, simple research question that by now we should be thinking of how to use the Kenyans or the Africans to generate something that can actually save the world. So I am not very happy with some of the statements we are making, that we can only sit and watch and close our schools and wait for the other nations to bring up solutions. I think we should be working on some of our homegrown solutions. Number two, even as we sit here today, yes, we are being told the schools may be opening in January or not. But when you go around our country, especially in the rural area where I am at the moment, there is nothing, no single evidence of anything going on to show that we are actually getting ready to open the schools even in January or even in May next year. And this is a worrying situation. So I really think that much as we are closing the schools, I would by now be happy to at least see a beehive of activities, especially involving the expansion of the infrastructure and the sanitation in our schools in preparation to welcome back our children to schools. Thirdly, there is the issue of the finalists and the class 8s and the Form 4s. I am a teacher by profession, and I know that when you are testing class 8s, the content is not just class 8 work. It is cumulative right from class 1 work. If you are testing Form 4s, it is not just Form 4 work. It is cumulative right from Form 1. So for us to simply think that the fact that our Form 4s and Form 3 class 8s are not able to pass exams just because they have missed a few months or 1 year of learning, I think this is bringing some strange inconfidence in our children. And we are saying that whatever they have been learning right from the previous classes up to now are useless. And I think this is not a good state for our nation, even as we bring up our youth. I think from my experience, I know a well-groomed Form 3 is actually capable of getting 75 to 80% of the Form 4 candidate papers.
Right.
I have done that before, and I can do it now, and I know I will prove it right.
All right, and
so To some extent, I'm not happy with what is happening in our education sector.
All right, and hopefully there is some traction in that area. We can see that on page 4 of the Standard this morning. TSC sets rules for teaching to start in estates and villages, where we're going to have teachers literally just taking smaller communities in their area and teaching them. Maybe this is something that we should have explored much earlier, and we'll wait and see how that is going to pan out. But I'd want us to handle one more thing before we get to the end of this segment, and that is the stalemate in Senate. And there was, a meeting that had been convened, hopefully to try and canvass and see whether they can get to a resolution of, the revenue allocation that has basically been tried 7 times and has stalled every single time. Let me come to you, Ambrose Weda, and your thoughts on why that stall is there and what is it that needs to be done? What's the one thing that needs to be done to end that stalemate? We seem to have had the president and the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga weigh in, but still senators are divided on the revenue allocation. Weda.
I think the senators there's been a stalemate because this formula being suggested will end up some counties that were receiving money previously will end up having a reduction. And this is because the original formula, the formula previously used, are actually the ones which had been problematic. The core of the revenue division here has and ought to be on the basis of population. But we had some fake figures that had been previously used. Let me give you, for example, Tarakani. The previous census had revealed that more people. Now, the last one showed there are fewer people. Lamu and so on. So because it is relying more on population and poverty index, this is where the statement is, because some are saying some people are going to lose money. I think there should be, the formula should proceed, but then the counties that are going to lose money, they are given additional revenue just to cushion them, but not on the basis of the formula. So some of the senators just grant the grandstanding, trying to be populist, to be nice. Even if I'm getting money, my brother who is getting more money on the basis of tracts of land should also get. That is where the mistake is. And I expect my Senator Kisumu County to vote for this thing quickly. And I also expect the Treasury that some countries we're going to lose, like Lamu, please give them money separate. But the formula is good, if you ask me.
The formula is good. All right, Dr. Pamela Odhiambo, you're on the ground, a woman rep from Migori. What do you think is a problem and what do you think needs to be done for that stalemate to end?
I think on this point, I may want to concur partly with my colleague Weda there, that Kenyans need some independent, rational and scientific formula of doing things that can actually benefit everybody. However, as we stand here today, the problem is our departure note has been poor. Most of the time, I've always questioned some of these census results, and basing this formula also on just population alone, to some extent, is also not right, because much as there are fewer people in a certain area, there are social amenities which cut across every, the lives of every human being. For example, if you were to ask me, I am wondering why we cannot have Kenyatta hospitals in every other county in this country, so that everyone who is sick from Migori, Mandera, wherever, all are referred to Kenyatta National Hospital, and we have seen the repercussions of that. So I'm thinking that out of this thing, let people remove personal interest and unnecessary politicking out of this formula. And what we need to do or understand, even the others who are feeling bad that their monies are being reduced, they are also right. Because if you look at things in terms of infrastructure, it is very poor. Social amenities are not there. So the rationale is like, if we are again given less, when will we ever develop this? And therefore, I think this debate needs not to be rushed. It needs to be combed in and out and bring out all the issues that can actually make all Kenyans feel like, oh yes, we are not that those who have more are added more, and those who have less are actually given even lesser.
All right.
I think these are the factors that may need to be considered so that we have a stable country where we are saying, let's have roads like the ones we have in Nairobi all over this country. And remember, even as we think about those counties that are losing and gaining, there is also this silent funding. We sometimes have been misused in our government, the equalization fund. You know, if we say that these counties who are getting less, we then give them more equalization fund to try and bring up the infrastructure in these counties, then I think that would sort out the mess. But you see, Kenyans, we are always fighting for one thing and we omit all others. And when the other issue comes up, I think the senator should link the debate closely to the equalization fund and concurrently move these things and see how to provide for Kenyans equally. Because in our law, we are talking about equitable distribution of resources.
All right, Dr. Pamela Odhiambo, thank you very much. Woman Rep for Migori County, and Canon Ambrose Weda, who is a lawyer, for joining us this morning to review what's making headlines, but also what has been making headlines over the weekend. But because of time, we'll have to wind it up right there. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We've not even had time to look at some of the responses that you have, but we'll do that as we carry on with the show. For now, we're going to take a short break right here on Morning Express, but do stay with us. Today is Monday. We have Robin Toskin ready to host and let us know what's been happening in the sports world. We take that break. When we come back, it's time for sports.